Hi, this is Miss Gannon.
And Mrs. Ponzio.
And we're here to talk to you today about how we're going to begin your passion projects.
There are several different types of questions that we're going to be talking about today. The first is an inch question. An inch question is something that you can Google. If you can answer the question with yes or no, or you can find it in just one sentence, then it's not a good question for your passion project. An example of an inch question would be, what are the popular types of dogs to purchase? Another one would be, what types of dogs are friendly? These questions have one short answer that you could Google and find your answer quickly.
All right, guys, the next type of question we have is a foot question. And a foot question is a little bit meatier than our inch question, but it can be answered just using a couple of resources or like making a list of steps. So for example, if we said, how do I make a go-kart? I could Google that and kind of find the parts I need to do or to make that go-kart. But in order to make that a higher level question, we might say, how do I make the fastest go-kart? And then you would have to research and compare the different types of go-karts you find.
A yard question is the types of questions that we really want to hear from you for your passion projects. It really makes you think deeply, not just on the surface level. You would have to do multiple steps of research, and then you would have to take all your research and put it together to form your own idea. An example of a yard question is, how are French bulldogs and golden retrievers similar and different, and which is a better fit for my family? With that question, you would have to take all of your research, put it together, and then decide for yourself what type of dog would work for your family.
Boys and girls, this is going to be your project proposal, or what you're going to work on, not really for Genius Hour, but for Passion Project. After you narrow down your topic using your bracket, or you may already know it before you even work on your bracket, this is what we'll start filling out, and we're going to go more into detail with an example that Miss Ponzio and I did.
For our proposed passion project, we decided to look into running a restaurant. So on number 1, you are going to write a short phrase about what you want your topic to be for passion project. If you look at number 2, the question is, what are the top 3 inquiry-based questions you brainstormed about your topic? So that's asking you, when it says inquiry-based, what are you going to inquire into? What are you going to research? So for us, we did number 1, what do I need to run a restaurant? So I would have to do several different searches to find what a person might need if they were going to run a restaurant. Number 2, what sources can I contact for information about running a restaurant? So you might, if for your project, need to contact someone in the area, someone that you might know who has experience in this. Number 3, what do I need to learn to be a restaurateur? So that question might be a little bit more difficult to answer, right? We need to do several different searches to find out the different elements of being a restaurateur in order to answer that question.
All right, now we're on to question 3, which is, why are these questions important to you? And if you picked a topic you're passionate about, then it'll be easy to explain this part right here. We just thought that these questions were important because we love to cook and we want to see ourselves owning a restaurant in the future. So maybe you can come to Miss Ponzio's and Miss Gannon's Cafe one day. Number 4 is, what do you hope to learn? And I hope that I will learn the business side of running a restaurant, because it's fun just to cook in your kitchen, but it's a totally different style when you cook in a restaurant, and how to cook on a larger scale. So not just cooking for 4 people, but cooking for maybe 400 people in a night. That would be something hard to do, and I would definitely have to do a lot of research about it.
For question 5, you'll see that it asks you, how do you plan to share your project with others? For Mrs. Gannon and my response, we said, I plan to create a mock restaurant in my classroom. Here's your opportunity to be really creative. We don't want to see a bunch of posters. We don't want to see a bunch of PowerPoints. Get creative with this. We will help you come up with ideas, but there are all sorts of different ways for you to share your learning with others. So it should be something really fun. Perhaps you're going to create a comic, or perhaps you might create a prototype of something. But I want you to think outside of the box for this question. For number 6, this is more of the logistics side of things. It asks you what materials you will need. So for Mrs. Gannon and my project, we decided we would need food, recipes, a menu, the paper products that people would eat off of, adult supervision for our cooking, right, because we can't cook and use a stove without adults, and a projected spreadsheet of income. That would be something like how much money does it take to create something versus how much should we charge for that. So that would kind of help you come up with your prices for your food. So you need to think about all the different areas and the different parts and steps to your project to come up with a list of materials that you might need.
On the back of our paper, we're going to do number 7, and if you can see it, it's kind of cut off, but right here, it says, on the back, list some ways that I can support you in your project. So these are things that you know right away you need help with, and this can be a list that grows all the time that you're doing a project, because you may come across something that you need Miss Ponzio's or my help with. So we said, help me find someone to interview, because it'd be hard unless you know somebody or your family knows somebody that's in the restaurant business to find that person. Help me make phone calls so we can look up numbers and help you figure out which restaurants would be the best to call. Help me find someone to shadow in the industry, which would be perfect, especially if you wanted to run a restaurant. And shadowing is going and watching that person and seeing how they really are in their job and what they do day to day. So you might go for an hour and shadow them and learn some things. And then the last one, it says, help me calculate the cost of the materials for my mock restaurant. So we're going to have to figure out, with the school's help also, what kind of money and what kind of supplies that we have and you'll need for this project. So that would be an important part of your research.
As you go through this, you might find that the idea that you were really excited about before may not work for this project. So this is absolutely able to change as you work through your project and come up with different types of things that might work and might not work so well. Once you've finished filling out this worksheet, then this information is going to help you come up with your overarching question for the whole passion project for this first round. So good luck, you can get started, and happy passion project!